A record number of border crossers continue to make their way across the southern border, flooding the already overrun border towns and overwhelming almost every state across our country. Last month in August, we saw the highest one-month total of 230,000 migrant crossings during the entire calendar year. The year's not even over yet, and neither are the illegal border crossers that continue to put our national security at risk. We've got lots to discuss about this ongoing crisis, so let's bring in our border panel. Terrell County, Texas Sheriff and former Border Patrol agent Thad Cleveland, and the former Homeland Security Department advisor and former Secret Service Special Agent and CEO of Sentinel Security, Charles Marino. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me.
All right, Sheriff, I'll start with you. The Biden administration denies the flood of migrants across our southern border. Take a listen.
So why aren't you guys stopping the flow at the border?
We are stopping the flow at the border. If anything, what the president has been able to do on his own without the help of Republicans in Congress, something that he had to do on his own again because Republicans refuse to give the funding necessary to deal with a situation, a broken immigration system that has been broken for decades. What they choose to do is play politics, but the president has put a plan that is indeed, the data showing is that it is indeed slowing down the flow.
All I can say is, wow. I mean, sometimes I don't even believe that I'm listening to that, but it looks like Karine Jean-Pierre should take a field trip to the border, perhaps, and witness the influx of migrants. Sheriff, what say you?
Man, I tell you, it never slowed down. We did have a few less apprehensions right after, Title 42 went away, but it hasn't slowed down. The reporting on illegal immigration has slowed up. But I tell you, our borders are just as busy as they've ever been.
And Charles, I wanted to get your thoughts as well. How do we solve a problem if the Biden administration just outright refuses to acknowledge it even exists?
Yeah, and never mind somebody wanting to go down to the border. How dare they don't want to be photographed down there in the midst of this calamity that they intentionally created. They're not dealing with Mexico internationally. It's all carrots. They throw this region. All they do is hundreds of millions of dollars and fund them. They don't cut the money. They don't hold them accountable. They don't take out the sticks and say, look, you're going to work with us to solve this problem, or we're going to go it alone and go after the cartels on our own. And as far as what they're doing here in the country, look, you can read the writing on the wall, Mike. They're surging resources to New York now to get everybody eligible to work. Next, it's going to be to vote. So, they're starting to show their hand in terms of why they created this crisis in the first place.
That's a very interesting perspective. Sheriff, our borders were most secure when President Trump was running the country. He commented recently on the border crisis. Take a listen.
3 years ago, we had the safest border in history. Built almost 500 miles of wall, got 28,000 soldiers from Mexico free of charge. Today, it is the absolute worst border anywhere in the world. There's nothing close. Millions and millions of people are pouring through our border. They come from prisons and jails. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums. And they're terrorists. They're coming into our country totally unchecked. We have no idea who they are. We will immediately stop that the day I become president.
Sheriff, from what I can see, the American people aren't turning a blind eye to this crisis. The Biden administration isn't fooling anyone. From what I can see, what do you think?
Hey, I'll tell you what President Trump said right there was 100% accurate. And I'll tell you, I'm not political in this because I'll be the first to tell you, Democrats and Republicans have all had their hand in this. But I worked under 5 different presidential administrations. The previous 4 all added to border security. This current administration is doing absolutely nothing. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol turned 99 years old this year, their 99th birthday. And it took this administration 6 months to dismantle 99 years of progression along our southwest border with Mexico.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Charles, your final thoughts as we wrap this up in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, like I said, we got to start enforcing the law here. What the Biden administration has proven is that when you remove all structure and deterrence from the border, all you have is chaos. Remember how they said Trump's administration was inhumane the way they were treating migrants? Well, look at what's happening now. So you got to restore law and order, the two essential pillars, and that's your deterrence. And then you got to work on immigration reform from there. But first, you got to control that border.
Well said. Thad, Cleveland Sheriff, we appreciate it. Charles Marino, excellent for your commentary. Thank you so much.